Welcome to the Awaken Your Ego podcast, where we embark on a transformative journey towards unleashing your highest potential. I'm your host, Joanne, and I'm thrilled to guide you through discussions that delve into the realms of physical, mental, and spiritual wellness.
Brenna here. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of wellness, offering insights and practical tips to enhance your overall health. From rejuvenating your body to nurturing your mind and spirit, our conversations will cover a holistic approach to well-being.
I'm one of your hosts, Ariana. Discover alternative health strategies aimed at optimizing every aspect of your life. If you're ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and well-being, tune in, open your mind, and let's awaken your ego together. Welcome to a life-changing adventure on the Awaken Your Ego podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Ego podcast. Today we have Dr. Mike Van Thielen joining us today, and we're super excited. So Dr. Mike, just a background, has a PhD in holistic nutrition, is certified in homeopathy, and is an expert in functional medicine. With over 3 decades involvement with the best optimal health practices, anti-aging and regenerative medicine, sports performance, nutrition and supplementation, and biohacking strategies. He is a mentor and coach, helping people regain control of their health and performance at their highest potential. Dr. Mike also has a world record in swimming and is the best-selling author of the IZOD Method. His latest book contains innovative strategies to optimize productivity, eliminate stress, and elevate mind and body. Dr. Mike's impact reaches far and wide, earning him accolades, including the CREA Global Awards in 2023 honoree title. He's featured on the cover of Biohackers Magazine and holds the coveted position of executive contributor of Brainz Magazine. So many accomplishments. It's very impressive.
Well, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you were originally inspired to get into functional medicine. How did this all start?
You probably can hear my accent. I'm originally from Belgium. I grew up in Belgium, born and raised there. And I came here in 1997. Prior to that, I was traveling with the Belgian Olympic swim team in preparation for the Olympic Games in Atlanta in 1996. So over in Belgium, I was always involved in sports. Actually went to the University of Brussels and did physical education, which was a lot of fun, but ultimately, what are you going to do with that, right? So then I got into physical therapy and traveled as a physical therapist assistant coach with Belgian Olympic swimmers. And then in 1997, they actually were short of physical therapists in the United States, and a recruiter contacted me. I saved $400, packed my backpack, put the jeans on, and came live, quote unquote, the American dream. And then I really saw the limitations of conventional medicine, especially in the United States. It's obvious that everything's drugs, injections, and surgeries. And so I decided to go back to school to the College of Integrative Medicine in Orlando. I got my license in acupuncture, Doctor of Oriental Medicine, homeopathy, all that stuff. But after another 1,000 patients, I got frustrated because these therapies are indeed less invasive than conventional medicine, meaning drugs, injections, and surgeries. But I really didn't get the long-lasting results I was hoping for either. So I really had to go back to basics, and that's when I decided to get my PhD in holistic nutrition, but I also started to look at Mother Nature because I felt Mother Nature probably has the answer. So I started to really look on what do animals in the wild do and what don't they do. And by combining those two, I really got very confident, and that's when I started doing motivational speaking, writing some books, because I was very confident in helping anybody regain control of their health, whether it's cancer, whether it's Parkinson's, I don't care, or helping top athletes go to that next level. And so, fast forward many years, I always stayed on the edge of what's happening in that world. In the early 2000s, it was the A4M and anti-aging. Then it became regenerative medicine, which is your stem cell-based therapies. I was the CEO of a company in which we treated heavyweight boxing champions, NFL players, and etc. Then COVID came, and that's when I really had to take the time to look at myself and see what is it that I really am passionate about. And that's when I decided I started up taking up keynote speaking again, writing another book after the pandemic, which is the IZOD Method to Unleash Your Superpower, which is book number 8, but a little bit different than the first 7 books, which were all health related. It was more about underlying causes, about stresses, about productivity, about mental status, about purpose in life, etc., and all the latest biohacking strategies and techniques. So today I'm considered an expert biohacker. I will be the opening keynote in Miami next week with Gary Brecka and some other celebrities. And so I do online courses, and I have private mentees that I help, whether they're top athletes or whether they're battling cancer or anything in between. I feel comfortable I can help them bring them to that next level.
So that's quite a journey, right? From where you started to where you're at now. How did you combat like imposter syndrome along the way? Like, what made you think you were that guy that people wanted to listen to?
Well, I kind of figured it out on early that if you're really passionate about something, you don't have to have any sales techniques. And I had to realize that at a young age, because when I just came to the States and I was in my 20s, I came across this, quote unquote, supplement that the Russian Olympic athletes have been taking for years, and some of the American athletes, but nobody really was talking about it. It was an adaptogenic product. And so I let it know to my friends and sports people in Belgium that, hey, should look at this. So then somebody actually put a meeting together over there for me to fly back over to Belgium and do a presentation for the top coaches and the top athletes. And that was very exciting. But at the time, there was no PowerPoints. It was still with those overhead projectors and the slides that you turn around. So I remember sitting in an airplane and going over those slides, right? So that was in the late 90s, still no PowerPoint. But what I remember is I prepared an hour and I had all the science backed up. And after 10 minutes, the main guy switched the light on and he said, okay, we've heard enough. Why don't you why don't we all get this product and try it, and let's just have fun tonight? And of course, initially I'm offended because I prepared all this, but then afterwards I realized, just my passion and the way I explained it, they didn't have to know anything else. They just wanted to try it at that point. And so that kind of opened my mind to, okay, if there's true passion, if there's something somebody believes in, then it's worth trying, right? So, if you stay true to yourself and you continue to follow your passions and your dreams and you investigate things and you can help people, truly help people, and you put that before making money, then you really don't need to have any sales techniques.
No, I think that's great. Great advice.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about your latest book, The IZOD Method, which which stands for In the Zone on Demand. How would you describe what that means to be in the zone?
Yes, I mean, we all heard about being in the zone, right? But we think it's just for athletes or musicians, if they take their drugs, they're in the zone and they just jamming away, or it's the athletes. But people don't realize, and most of us actually have experienced it once during their lifetime, but we think it's merely by accident or by chance, like, oh my God, I won this race. Or, oh my God, I crushed this sales presentation. Or, oh my God, I played that violin perfectly and I normally never do. So we think it's by chance, but it's actually a skill that we can master to be present in the moment, to be what they call in flow state or in the zone, because that's when we produce the best. That's when we're the best version of ourselves. That's when there's no distraction. It doesn't matter if there's people around you or if there's noise. You're so in the zone. And so that's when you produce, because we all heard the statistic that, in 20% of the time, we actually produce 80% of what we need to produce, right? So, but what if we could be in that stage all the time? Then we could produce much more, right? Or if we were able to turn that on and off. And so if you master that skill, then you eventually can turn it on and off. And so I always give an example of, sports is always a good example. But if you think about Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, they never had a bad game, not one. They lost many games, but that's because they're a team, right? But they never had a bad game. And it's because they had a power routine. They had something that they could count on each and every time to be into the zone and be the best they could be. And the other athletes are elite athletes. They're millionaires. They're NFL players, NBA players. They're top golfers. But yet people would say, oh, he or she had a bad day, or he or she had an off game. But what does that mean? Did their talents disappear? No. Did their physical capabilities disappear? No. So what was the difference? The difference was in between the ears, right? They were slightly distracted. Maybe an argument with their significant other, maybe something with the kids, maybe something in the headlines of the newspaper, maybe a financial situation, who knows? But they were slightly distracted, which means is they anticipated a little bit late. The ball just went through their hands as a wide receiver. They missed an easy putt. And so normally that miss carries over a few more plays before they're back to where they're supposed to be. But when you're in the zone, you only have the end in mind. So if we're thinking about a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant, when they miss an easy layup, it doesn't affect them the next play. They probably block the shot on the opposite end, right? Before that game's over. So that's the difference between, winning and losing, the difference between a professional player and an MVP, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire, and the difference for us average people that don't have those millions, right? The difference between reaching your goals and dreams and just falling short is being able to operate into that in that zone.
Inspired you, I guess, to develop that method in the first place?
Yeah, that's a good question that's a great question. Yes, of course, we all could use it ourselves because we all get distracted, especially since social media came available to us with all its conveniences. But I think during the pandemic, I was the CEO of a stem cell clinic, and we had to close the doors because we were, non-essential, all that BS, right? So, anyways, I was just sitting there and thinking, okay, what's next? And a colleague of mine called me up and said, hey, do you have time to help us out? Because we need help pre-screening for medical marijuana on calls. I said, sure, whatever. And so I ended up talking to about 100 people every week. And we're talking about people with ADHD, anxiety, depression, worries, fears, and they're all on Adderall and Wellbutrin and Ritalin. And so it really wasn't my expertise prior, but I got kind of very interested in that. And what I found, yes, there are therapies and there are smart drugs out there for that, but there really was a majority of people that had an underlying cause why they felt that way, because they were lacking a purpose in life. They were just going with the motions, going to do their job, not to know what to expect tomorrow, financially or otherwise. And I kind of put myself in their shoes and thinking, okay, if I'm worried about tomorrow and not know what tomorrow brings next week, next month, next year, yeah, I probably would be worrying too. And I would be some kind of fearful also, which then translates into what? Anxiety, depression, PTSD, right? So that's when I decided with this new book, yes, we can talk about health and biohacking and nutrition and hydrogen water and hydrogen inhalation and we can do all that. But if we don't address some really deep-rooted underlying problems, even those things won't really work, right? And so that's when I started to dig more into, okay, we need a purpose in life. How do we get that? How do I help my clients identify, confirm, or discover their purpose? So we reignite that passion in their life, and we have actually a vision and those types of things, right? Because when we have a passion, hurdles just become stepping stones and opportunities versus obstacles, right? And so I figured out on how to do that. And then I said, okay, now we need a plan, because once we have a goal and a dream, many times they're very overwhelming and people say, that's just a dream. I can't attain that. So we really need a plan, a strategic plan or a blueprint, and break that big, scary goal down into small, incremental steps that we can attain on a daily basis and also find fulfillment on a daily basis. So when we wake up in the morning, we're not thinking in our head like, oh, I got to get up. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. But we're thinking, I get to get up. I get to get to work. I get to do this. I get to do that. Because we know it's going to bring us one small step closer to what we really want in life. And so the foundation to be successful and to reach your goals and dreams are first purpose and then a plan. And that's the foundation. And now we can start talking about self-optimization. How do I get in the zone on demand? How do I fix my focus, be productive? And how do I upgrade my body, my mind, and my life? How do I utilize biohacking strategies to objectively reverse my biological age and become superhuman? That's self-optimization. And if we have a good foundation and then we do self-optimization, then with all those elements, which is my fifth step in my P5 formula, then we can put all those elements in a power routine and make it custom so that you have a power routine daily that you can count on to move forward and reach your goals and dreams.
Oh, that's great.
Love that. What are some examples that you have for people to self-optimize? Like, for instance, biohacking. How would you describe that for our listeners?
Yeah, of course, there's many, right? But when there's so many definitions of biohacking too, and so for me, it's simply upgrading the body, the mind, and life, and from a health point of view, objectively reversing that biological age, which gives you an unfair advantage, of course. So when people think biohacking, they think about technologies, right? Oh, I should have a hyperbaric chamber in my house. Well, if you have the money, go ahead and spend $20,000. It's good, but maybe you should learn how to breathe properly so you can utilize that oxygen properly. And that's for free, breath work, right? Or, oh, I need a photobiomodulation machine of $100,000 because it's got those millions of lights with the right frequencies. Yes, but there's sunlight outdoor there and it's for free, right? So, so those technologies are great, especially if you have money to spare. But these technologies would work better if you put the foundations in place. So in my book, The IZOD Method, I go over the 7 foundations of biohacking, and I can briefly discuss them if you like. Yes? All right. So the first one is oxygen, right? We all have the same air, 21%, but it is important to get fresh air and not recirculated air. So it's clean air, right? So we do have to spend more time outside. And many times it's easy if we want to, because we tend to, even if we have a regular job, we can go outside during lunch. We don't have to stay inside. When we come home in the evening, if it doesn't rain, why don't you spend time outside? Why don't you take dinner outside? Why don't you walk the dogs, play with the dogs, go to the beach, go to the park, whatever it is. So we can if we want to. But it's about utilizing that oxygen. Again, we all get the same amount, but 99% of us don't know how to breathe properly because we are what they call shallow chest breathers or mouth breathers. And the mouth is designed to talk and to eat, but not to breathe. That's why we have a nose. The nose is not to get allergies or to sneeze. No, the nose is actually to breathe. And so most people don't know, but a normal breath is 5 counts in through the nose and 6 counts out through the nose. The nose is a much narrower passage, so it forces the oxygen to go much deeper into the lungs, the lower lobes, and into the tissues. Well, most people don't realize either, because this is plain biology, physiology, so this is not an opinion. We have nitric oxide sitting right here. And so when we breathe into the nose, that air takes nitric oxide and helps it dilate and get further into the tissues. That's how we are designed. So now, if we would breathe properly, which everybody can start practicing at no cost, you can go to YouTube, or actually you can download the best app that I think is the best app right now. It's called The Breath Source. You can download it for free. If you pay $7 or something per month, you can access live classes too, but it's for free and you can learn how to breathe properly. So, but if we would breathe in 5 in through the nose, 6 out, then we only take 5.5 breaths per minute. Now, through the mouth, we usually breathe between 16 to 22 times. So it's a 300% increase in effectiveness. And why is that important? We need oxygen to breathe, but oxygen is also what? Aging. Oxygen is oxidative stress. Oxygen is rusting. It accelerates our aging, right? And we don't want to age. You know, that's a bad idea, guys. It's a bad idea. So if we can increase our breathing by 300%, it may be one biohack anybody can do. Because that's what you do, reducing that oxidative stress, and you effectively breathe. So the breath source. So that's number one. It's fresh air, but also knowing how to then utilize that and breathe it in properly. Number two, I would say water, right? Most of us, as you know, don't drink enough water, but it's also because we drink other stuff. You know, we drink teas, we drink coffees, we drink energy drinks, we drink juices, and a lot of those things, and especially soda and coffee, they are acidic and they dehydrate you. So in order to make up for a cup of coffee, now we need 10 of these glasses. And so we're constantly in a dehydrated state. But we have to think as our body of a plumbing system, you know, to just get that visual, because we have a circulatory system with millions and millions of miles of arteries and veins and vascular systems. And we have a lymphatic system, which is part of our immune system. And so if you think of a plumbing system, we need to pour water down it. We need to prevent stagnation. Things need to move. So we need to drink plenty of water, and we need to drink clean water. And this is hydrogen water. So, you know, if you can infuse it with hydrogen, it's even better. And we can talk about it later, but that's another topic. So air, breath work, enough water. Number three, I would say light. We just talked about it briefly. We need a lot of sunlight. And it's important. So again, we got to get the fresh air, but let's go also outside and enjoy that sunlight. Not the heat. Going lay on the beach in the middle of the summer at 2 o'clock is exhaustive. It's not good for the body, but we need the light. And the best analogy or the best example I can give is think about all the animals in the Amazon around the equator where it's always light and sunny. Those are vibrant, full of color, strong animals, like versus those who never see light. Extreme example, a mole. They're even blind. So who do you want to be, right? So light stimulates all biological, physiological, and nutritional processes in the body. Now, if you live in Norway or Iceland during the winter and there is no sunlight for 24 hours, that's when these technologies can be helpful, right? Or if you have a job that you have to be inside, that's when these technologies may have a place, but you got to put those foundations in place. Then number 4, movement. And I say movement on purpose because people talk about exercise. And so there's plenty of people that go to the gym 1 to 2 hours a day, every day, and they think they're healthy, but they're not, because if they would be sitting down the rest of the day selling insurance, for example, it's not healthy. Our body, again, is designed to move. So it's not about the gym and it's not about exercise or playing organized sports. It's about constantly moving. All day long, we can't sit still. So we got to walk, we got to jog, we got to dance, we got to go outside and chase the dog, chase the kids, chase the grandkids. We got to constantly move. And again, if you have a sedentary job, that's where technology come in. High frequency vibration platforms, mini trampolines, whatever it is, high frequency massagers. But we don't want stagnation. Stagnation is disease, okay? We need the things move. So think again about the plumbing system. And then number 5, the opposite of moving is what? Sleep and rest. We always need to allow recovery, but during a deep delta sleep, that's where the body repairs, replenishes, and regenerates. Just think of it as a supermarket, and the people that restock the shelves go on strike for 1 or 2 days. Game over, right? And that's the same with our body, game over. It just becomes a vicious cycle. You wake up fatigued and you're sloppy and you're going to make all the wrong choices. And it just, an accumulative process. So deep delta sleep is crucial. And so if you don't wake up refreshed like most of us, you're not into that deep delta sleep and you need to do something about it. And there's many things that we can do, but just to give you 2 little examples, the major thing is do not, or eat your dinner early. Do not consume any food or snacks 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours before you go to bed, because if your body's still digesting, you cannot get into a deep delta sleep because your body's still working, right? Another good example probably is many of us, when they go to sleep, their mind's going crazy. Oh, I got to do this tomorrow. I got to bring this person there. I got to get my kids to soccer. I got to prepare this meeting. I didn't do everything yet. And so your mind goes wild, right? And so part of my power routine is 1 minute of visualization where I go just in 1 minute through my whole day chronologically. And at each point of contact, I make in my mind the right decision. Oh, at this meeting, I'm going to say this. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to bring my car for service. And then I'm going to make the calls while I'm waiting. And then I'm going to do this. And for lunch, I'm making, a good decision. So it takes only 60 seconds. But now I can go to rest, to sleep, because my mind doesn't have to worry about the next 24 hours, right? So that's another example. But, everybody needs different elements to make that work. And, when you work, you'll know because you wake up refreshed. And that's something very uncommon these days, that people wake up refreshed and not like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to get up, etc., etc. So that was number 5. Number 6 is obviously diet or nutrition, right? We need to upgrade that. The best information, I guess, is talk about what I think is the cause of all diseases, toxemia. Toxemia literally means toxins in the blood, right? But in a little bit more detail, what it means is that on a daily basis, as part of our normal metabolism and existence, we obviously produce waste, toxins. But in a healthy organism, those toxins are removed from our body through the kidneys, the bowels, the skin, etc. So no harm is done. However, today, we are exposed to far more toxins and ingest far more toxins than the body possibly can eliminate. So now we have an accumulation of toxins in the body. We can't keep up with eliminating them. And that causes 2 things. Number 1, free radical damage. All your listeners heard about free radicals before, right? Because these toxins are stealing an electron from a healthy atom, which then becomes unstable. And that's your free radical cascade. But even more important and easier to understand is that we're now in a state of emergency, right? There's too many toxins and we can't keep up with eliminating. And in conventional medicine, they actually termed it systemic inflammation. And even conventional medicine now agrees that the cause of over 90% of all disease is this systemic inflammation. So in order to be healthy and avoid all disease, we simply need to keep toxemia in check. And theoretically, that's easy because what we need to do is we need to reduce the intake and exposure of toxins. How? Toxins from what? Man-made foods, man-made drinks, over-the-counter prescription medication, from harmful household products, cleaning products, cosmetic products we put on our skin and our face, and from electromagnetic radiation, our Wi-Fi's, our cell phones, our fluorescent light bulbs, our smart devices and appliances, everything. And so we need to do whatever we can to mitigate that. We can't avoid it all because then we'll have to move, out of the city, out of town, into a pristine area. And we don't want to give up those conveniences, but we can consciously reduce as much as we can and simultaneously increase the nutrients that do what? Fight free radical damage and systemic inflammation and repair our DNA. And if we just tip that balance, we'll be okay and we'll be bulletproof against any virus that they come up with or any chronic disease or cancer. And so that's how I help people upgrade their diet. I don't believe we need to be health freaks. I'm not. I have my taco on Tuesday and my pizza on Friday. But I make sure I also have all the essential nutrients in my body so my body can repair, replenish, and renew itself. So we don't have to be health freaks to be in optimal health. Actually, that's not healthy anyways because we need to challenge our body. We need to keep our immune system alert, and we need to put that pizza and that beer in there once in a while, to be in optimal health. So that's number 6. And number 7, the last one is probably the most important one. I start with that immediately, no matter who you are, whether you're a top athlete or whether you're battling stage 4 cancer, is mindset. We need to upgrade our mindset. And your podcast is called something with ego, right?
Mm-hmm. Awaken your ego.
That's where the ego is in the way, right? In our mindset, because basically we're spirits and we chosen a body, right? And we chose that body for a certain purpose. And most of us don't know why. And that's why we have that third component, because we always talk about body, mind, spirit. The spirit chooses a body because we got to fulfill a certain purpose. And the mind is supposed to translate that and be kind of a translator between that. But unfortunately, we have a conscious and a subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind has all the power. The conscious mind, that's where, that's where ego is. That's where everything gets in the way. And so in 99% of us, again, that conscious mind is in the way of us living our purpose and be the best we can be and be healthy and unleash our superpowers. And so that's the ego that needs to put aside, because we need to realize that the subconscious mind is where all the frequencies come in. It's where we find the resources. It's that allows us to grow and be extraordinary. And so I saw that in your title of your podcast, because it's great that ego just needs to step aside so we can fully come to our full potential and the resources can come to us directly, versus being held back by the past and labeling those past experiences that were lessons, labeling them as failures and having all those limiting beliefs, right? And that's why it's important that we teach anybody, whether it's a cancer patient or an athlete, that the mindset controls the body, controls disease or health, and also is the blueprint to our future, our success or our failure. So if you think you're going to die of cancer because the doctor told you so, then you're going to agree, then the doctor's going to be right? If you doubt that you're going to realize your goals and dreams, or you're going to be a best-selling author, or you're going to win the Olympics, or you're going to be a top executive in your company, doesn't matter what it is. If you have any doubt, then the universe has 2 options, failure or success. If you continue to work on your mindset and make it part of a power routine and do things like gratitude journaling or visualization, manifestation, breath work, meditation, and you name it, and you'll be pulled forward by the future, and you actually feel already the results from the future, then obviously then the universe only has one option, right? A big win. And so it's important to also start with that early, because you can have all the biohacking equipment in the world and spend millions of dollars with the wrong mindset. It's not going to do anything.
I love that. Yeah. I feel like
those are the foundations.
Yeah, I feel like we're huge proponents on having a positive mindset, and even looking back and reassessing things so that you can put it together in a nice way, because I feel like your mindset can either be your biggest tool or your biggest obstacle. And I love the fact that you've mentioned, I don't know if it was just right now or even in what I've read previously, how there's no failure. You're either succeeding or you're learning. And I love that. I've always kind of lived by that method. It's like, no, I never fail. If I can pivot and do it differently, it means it was worth it and I learned something.
I mean, it's human, because we all have emotions and feelings, and we don't want to ignore the negative ones, but we need to take ownership of them, right? And it's okay to be down sometimes for a day, as long as we get back on track, because that's why we need a plan. That's why we have a purpose. And sometimes things happen and it's okay, but as long as we can pick ourselves back up, evaluated it, oh, that was just another hurdle, I was just being tested again. Well, here we're back on track and we move forward. So if that's only short term, then we don't need Adderall and we don't need a psychotherapist either, right? So we need to be able to manage those emotions and those feelings without ignoring them, because that's not healthy either.
Looking to boost your energy and vitality? Try liposomal NAD from Eco Beauty and Wellness. With liposomal technology for optimal absorption, experience enhanced energy and cellular rejuvenation. Liposomal NAD, available at Ego Beauty and Wellness. Discover your vitality today. Visit www.egodefine.com to learn more and purchase.
Are you ready for a brighter future? Do you want to turn your dreams into reality? It all starts with setting SMART goals that propel you towards success. Hi, I'm Joanne, a holistic health coach with Ego Beauty and Wellness, and I've created the Ultimate Goal Setting Workbook, the key to unlocking your full potential. Picture this, you achieving your wildest aspirations. It all begins with setting clear, actionable goals. That's why I've crafted a unique guide that transforms your dreams into a roadmap for success. I help break down the journey into achievable milestones, ensuring that you stay focused and motivated. Imagine the person you'll become when you set and achieve your goals with the Ultimate Goal Setting Workbook. It's not just about reaching the destination, it's about the journey of self-discovery and growth. Make this your year for breakthroughs. Start your journey with the Ultimate Goal Setting Workbook, where dreams meet reality. Visit our website at www.egodefine.com or call us now to kickstart your success journey. Your goals are within reach, and Ego is here to help you grab them. Yeah. So you had mentioned briefly tapping into our superpower, and I believe that your book kind of touched on that. How would you encourage our listeners to tap back into their superpower, and why do you think it is that people lose sight of it?
Yeah. I ask people all the time, I start conversations like that a lot. Do you remember the superpower you wanted when you were a kid? The dreams about who you wanted to be? At that time, there was no doubt in your mind that you could be that person. But along the way, somebody, most likely your parents, told you that was impossible. And so now we settle for ordinary, right? And so sometimes it's good to go back there, right? Because as kids, we don't have those limiting beliefs, right? And so it's our experience and what people tell us that kind of blocks, kind of separates our unconscious mind, which is limitless to, what we're able to do. But so I tell people, we got to go for purpose first, because when we're born, we're pushed in a certain direction. First of all, by society, we have to go to school, we have to go to college, then we have to work for somebody till we're 65, and then there's the golden years, which never happen. Or our parents and teachers push it in a certain direction, because if dad's a lawyer, he probably wants you to go to law school. If mom's a doctor, they probably want you to go to med school. And so I have to tell people all the time, just stop now. What is it that you're passionate and excited about? A good example, not too long ago, this was a very successful eye surgeon, and huge house on the beach, paying all the bills, everything's going smooth. But after talking for an hour, we basically figured out it wasn't his passion. He was good at it. He was making a living, but his passion was music, right? And so that doesn't mean he has to stop paying the bills and being irresponsible. But what we did is we freed up 1 hour a day to start working on that passion. And then eventually maybe he could transition, right? So it's about that passion and that fire, because without that, there's no reason to take an obstacle. There's no reason to persist. There's no drive. There's no focus, right? So that passion needs to be there first. And then, so first of all, I help people discover it or confirm it, right? With exercises, with questions. And then the second step is a lot of people, they kind of know their superpower, but they're barely tapping into it. I was talking to a group of 200 chiropractors, and they're very passionate about what they do. They actually want to help people. But then most of them are waiting for a $40 check from Medicare to come in because they did a manipulation. That's barely tapping into it. So it's like, come on, guys. We have to be much bigger than waiting for a $40 check, right? So who else in your community can you help without a manipulation? I like to help Parkinson's patients. Okay, why don't we invest in hydrogen units and market to Parkinson's patients and do a cash-based business so you don't have to worry about these third-party insurances you can count on? So let's think bigger. Let's unleash that superpower. You want to help people? Of course, you can do a mobilization and wait for $40 and keep doing it, but man, let's unleash this. What else can we do? Let's think bigger. Let's put that ego aside, right? And let's go, right? So, so most of us kind of found their passion, but we're kind of barely tapping into it. So I'm helping them unleash it.
Well, I'm sure you've encountered people that it's like, even if they kind of have an inkling of where they want to go and where they're headed, that the necessity to change and to do things different and to put effort in, I feel like even that alone sometimes keeps people from going after it because that's a little hard. I'm going to stay here where it's safe, where it's a consistent outcome. It's like you said, it's a consistent paycheck or whatever, but that feels like too much. It's like, how do you motivate those people to realize it's worth it?
Yeah, I do all the time. And that's when we have to talk back about the comfort zone. Everybody likes to talk about the comfort zone, but we are modern day slaves where we are given all these we don't have to have shackles on. That's why we think we're not slaves, right? If we had shackles on, it's like, oh my God, what's happening? But no, we work, we pay taxes, which by the way is not necessarily, but we work, and we get these conveniences like internet and TV and movie theaters and comfort food and all that type of stuff. So they kind of keep us entertained, just like the Romans, bread and games, right? So they keep us entertained, but we are modern day slaves in the sense that they don't want us to get out of that comfort zone. They don't want us to grow. They don't want us to be extraordinary because that would be a threat, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, yes, it's comfortable and it's convenient, and stepping out of the comfort zone is difficult. So there's two things that I do with my mentees. Number one, we need to get educated on what the comfort zone is and what to expect, what comes after is, because if we're educated and we know what to expect, it's going to be easier to actually do it, right? So once you step out of the comfort zone, yes, there's the fear zone. After the fear zone is the learning zone, because now we got to have learned new skills. And then there's the growth zone. We actually grew to a next level. And I tell millionaires and successful people all the time, be careful though, because that growth zone at some point will be your new comfort zone. And guess what you need to do then? Leave that growth zone again. And many times it comes with surrounding yourself with other people that already are at that next level, right? Everybody heard the saying, the 5 people you surround yourself with, you will be the 6th one, right? So if you surround yourself with 5 druggies, you will be the 6th one. If you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th one, right? So that certainly holds true. And so we got to educate them about the comfort zone and also educate them about, the obstacles they're gonna encounter when they are gonna make that step. Like, let's give this eye surgeon, it didn't happen, of course, but let's say he goes home and he says to his family, his wife, I'm done with doing surgeries, I'm going to play music. I mean, how much resistance would he get, right? Because everybody's comfortable. But here's the education part. It's not that they don't want you to pursue your dreams. They love you. They care about you, your friends, your family. But here's what's happening. If you're going to do something else, you're disrupting their comfort zone. And that's why they are uncomfortable. And that's why they're holding you back. Not because they don't want the best for you or love you. And so once you understand that you're going to say something and you know why they react a certain way, then you can be calm about it, not get into a fight and say, okay, let's all sit down. I understand why you think this is radical, but I'm still going to pay the bills. I'm just going to start playing music here and there and there. And the reason why you're uncomfortable because we're all content and comfortable, but this is what I want. And why don't you take this ride along with me? And by the way, what are your goals and dreams, right? So it's all about being prepared and educating and knowing what to expect. And I think at that point, especially when you have a coach or a mentor like myself or many coaches out there that can show you the pitfalls, but also keep you accountable for taking that next step and sticking with you until you reach that goal and dream, that's going to make life a much easier. So you don't have to do it by yourself and getting resistance all the way till the end.
Love that. Yeah. So amongst all the amazing things that you do, we understand that you're also the medical director at CREA Health, which is an innovative medical company with a new pill providing all the benefits of Adderall without any side effects. So we were wondering, how did you get started with that company, and how exactly does the CREA enhance mental and physical performance?
Yeah, so it was the same time I was doing those calls for medical marijuana, talking to those people with ADHD, anxiety, depression. And a lot of them are, of course, on Adderall and those types of smart drugs. And I started looking into the side effects because I usually don't use much or waste much brain cells or time on, looking into those medicines because I'll never recommend them. But I was kind of curious. So I looked at Adderall and, of course, I heard about it, never took it, don't know anybody close to me that takes it, but the people kept saying it does work and it helps them focus and get the job done, so that's a good thing. But yet it's an increased heart rate, increased risk for heart disease, psychosis, long-term dependency, possible seizures, and the list goes on, right? So it's not something that I can necessarily recommend. So then I said, okay, I take a lot of supplements, so is there something that would help them focus that is more natural? And that's the field of nootropics, right? Which is basically smart drugs, but not chemically, more natural. And of course, there's hundreds of nootropics on the market, anywhere from, bacoba to ginkgo biloba and all kinds of other herbs and plants and supplements. So then I came across a patented ingredient called biocitroid, which is a terpene from a specific type of citrus fruit, blood orange in Southeast Asia. And at 30 milligrams or higher, that biocitroid is able to enter the blood-brain barrier and have positive effects on focus, etc. So then I contacted the company who had the exclusive rights to it in the United States, and they didn't have a product yet. And there was a few doctors working on it. So they checked into my background and said, can you help out and see what you think to formulate this product? I said, yeah, I'm interested. So we added 3 ingredients. We added L-tyrosine, which is an amino acid, which helps with memory and focus, obviously. We added phenylalanine, which is a neuro agent, which also helps with photographic memory and focus and, same type of thing. And then the third one is kind of the most exciting one. We added phosphatidyl, which has been shown in scientific research to stimulate NGF, nerve growth factor. So it helps with new brain cell formation and with neurotransmission in the brain. And so when we put those 4 together, we basically saw that we had a fast effect within 30, 40 minutes versus many supplements you'll have to take for weeks and hopefully see some positive effect. So this worked very fast. And what we saw that it was able to balance all the 5 intelligence hormones. We talked about getting in the zone and flow state earlier. So chemically, what it means is that all our 5 intelligence hormones, which are dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and acetylcholine, when they are optimal and in sync, in balance, that's when we're in the zone, right? So we saw with this product that it kind of helped getting them balanced and getting people focused. And so we don't have any jittery effects. We don't have any side effects. And so to me, it was a much better alternative to get people from Adderall on this Focus Plus, is what we call the product, Focus Plus, and eventually maybe off it, right? Because to me, it's all about, okay, why you're distracted. So we talked about purpose. Let's get a plan. Let's know what tomorrow brings, because we're going to script your life. So you don't have to worry what tomorrow brings, because control creates clarity. Clarity gets rid of stress, right? So eventually, we hopefully don't have to take anything, but at least replace this harmful smart drug with something that may help you too, without the side effects, anything. So that was kind of our goal. And now we helped a lot of people getting with ADHD and anxiety are on it, but also top athletes, because they may find that little extra edge like I said, some of them have a good day and a bad day, but what if we take this? It might just get them into that zone, even though they otherwise would have been distracted. So your listeners can get a free sample and try it at least at trysmartpill.com. So go to trysmartpill.com and just give it a shot. It may work, it may not work, but at least it can't harm you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have OCD and probably undiagnosed ADHD. I'm like asking for a friend.
No, that's really impressive. That's cool. I love nootropics and trying different ones out. So I think that's awesome that you've kind of put the best together. It's very intentional. So I'm interested in trying that.
So with such a busy schedule, because you do so many things, how do you handle your work-life balance?
Well, that's a good question. And I had to learn that myself too, right? Because now I'm helping even executives, top executives. And, it's like, okay, I want to get to that next level, they say. And it's like, we really need to balance that life. And to me, it's about scripting life, right? We have the purpose, we have a plan. And we have a plan, we're usually going to free up a lot of valuable time. And people say, oh, no, I'm busy. You can't free up time. Okay. We're going to look at their day, how their day was yesterday. And it's kind of fun because immediately we find a lot of time that was wasted, whether it was watching Netflix for 2 hours at night. Oh, but I was tired. I need to calm down, right? That's just an excuse. Or, even a top executive, Mike, I understand what you're saying. We need 1 hour a day to work on my passion, but I simply don't have it. I said, okay, let's go over yesterday. How many meetings did you have? Oh, we had 2 meetings. How long do you schedule your meetings for? An hour. I said, look, you're a professional. Why can't you make a decision on a topic in 15 minutes and save yourself 45 minutes and everybody else on a call too? So we just freed up 90 minutes right there and then in one day of a busy top executive, right? And so now we're going to take that time and work 1 hour on your purpose. And if we do that every day, it's amazing on how quickly you get to a certain level with certain things, right? Because it's a consistency and an accountability that counts. So it's about scripting your life. It's about getting in control of your agenda and your calendar, knowing what tomorrow brings next week and next year, because we have to have that big goal. Let's say, again, athletes is easy. The Paris Olympics coming up. I'm not ready for the Paris Olympics. Okay, in 4.5 years from now, I want to win gold. Okay, that's very overwhelming. Let's break it down. Where do we need to be in 3 years, 2 years, 1 year? Next month, next week, what can I do today, right? Okay, I can do that today and I'll find fulfillment because it's attainable. So we need to break that down, right? And so once we have that done, then I don't want you to do anything that doesn't contribute to that goal, because we're humans and we have a hard time saying no. So many times it's like, okay, how many projects are you working on? And which of those projects are not serving your personal goals and dreams? So we have to start saying no to certain people for certain things, right? It's something that we need to do. Frees up all this time. And we always are working in function of that big goal and dream, but we have our plan. And so suddenly a lot of things disappear out of that busy schedule that are not contributing, right? And we free up this valuable time. And so how do we balance life work? What your ask is, okay, family is important, kids are important. So now you're going to script that into your life. Oh, Mike, it should be spontaneous. No. If you're a busy executive and you don't have a scripted life and you promised your kids on Saturday you come to the game, but somebody called and you need to take a flight, you're going to take that flight and you miss your kids' game. But if you are in control and your life is scripted and you keep Saturday open, then Saturday is going to be open and you still can be spontaneous when it comes to what are you going to do with your kids? How are you going to spend your time with your kids? But there's rules. You're not going to have your phone. You're not going to answer business calls because you're in control of your life and you know when to do what. So again, it's almost about scripting your life. And when you script your life, you put in the important stuff, which is your family, your friends, your children and things like that. And that's how you balance it. But it takes a little bit of foundational work in order to get there.
No, I love that because I think a lot of people find it easy to make career goals or fitness goals. But like you said, plugging in your family in that time, that's super important too. So I like that you kind of look at all of that with your clients, all the different aspects of self.
We got to throw a lot of unnecessary stuff out before we can put the important things in and magnify those. Yeah.
How do you help clients stop subscribing to their own BS, like their own excuses? Like, how do you help them kind of look at that script that they tell themselves, like, oh, I can't because of this? Like, how do you change that?
So I just started a 12-week online program called the Limitless Lab. And, you know, it's 12 weeks where we actually go to maximum performance through self-optimization, right? So whether you're an athlete or cancer or an executive, I don't know your trait, I don't know your skill. I cannot teach you how to run faster because I'm not a track and field coach. I cannot teach you on how to become a top executive. What I can teach you is to optimize yourself, get organized, upgrade your body, your mind, and your life, which translates in what? In maximum performance, right? So that's what the 12-week is. And so one of the things that we do in the beginning is we eliminate those excuses. That's why I bring this up. And there's many excuses. So the top 6 excuses are: number 1, time, right? Because we are preoccupied with putting out fires all day long, and we don't have the time to carve out time for self-development, personal time, education, those important things. So that's the excuse. So again, what we're going to do is what we just talked about, is free up that time, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 excuse, not an excuse, is but you really don't have a plan. So you're working your ass off, but you're going in so many different directions. You got to go in one direction with all that effort. And so most people really don't want what they want, and they're working on this. It's not working, so maybe I should focus on this. And so they do not have a clear vision. And without that clear vision, you can be working very hard, but you're just on a treadmill and you're never going to get to that maximum potential. So that plan needs to be there. That's number 2. Number 3 is that self-optimization. So you can, a lot of people don't spend enough time, even successful people, on that self-optimization, because they think the way to be a better triathlete is swim even longer, run even farther, and spend more hours on the bicycle. And many times that's detrimental, right? Because there has to be a balance between what? Challenging your body, and then recovery, where your body can make the adaptations. And that's how you prevent injury also. So, but they don't know how to. So that's where I come in, because let's not go on the bike, in the swimming pool, or run, but let's look at the body. Let's do hydrogen. Let's do more sunlight. Let's take these supplements. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. And so it's about self-optimization. So we got to spend more time there. Number 4 is consistency, right? Many of us are not consistent. We do things for a while, and then we fall off, and then we pick it up again. And that only, erodes confidence, disrupts momentum, and creates a cycle of frustration and disappointment. That's all it does, right? So we never get to that maximum if we don't have that consistency. So that's why I help my clients create a power routine with all the elements. And this is what you do in the morning for 10 minutes between this and this, and this is what you do in the evening. And it's a daily routine, so we never fall off. It's part of your life, and that's why it needs to be a power routine. Number 5 would be, again, we go back to mindset. If we don't cultivate a mindset that aligns with the pursuit of your passion, purpose, or your passion, dreams, and your goals, then inadvertently we're going to fall short of who we can be and of our maximum potential, right? So we need to align that mindset, or we're never going to get there, right? And then the last one is accountability, because accountability creates an environment of responsibility, and it kind of promotes continuous improvement, all right, versus up and down, up and down. And so that's why in many instances, coaches and mentors are imperative to success, and you really got to surround yourself with those right people that can help you make you accountable and consistent. So those are usually the reasons why we don't get to that next level. And so in the Limitless Lab, we address those, but then we also overcome those, right? So no more excuses. Let's do this, right?
Right. Love that. Let's see. Do you have any personal goals or anything that you're working on right now, either spiritually, mentally, or physically?
Yes, I am working more on the mindset. Again, I come from a sports background, and the first part of that is body, train, or supplements, nutrition. And mindset came kind of in the early 2000s. You see some other competitors, they're sitting, they're meditating. And so somebody said, Mike, you need to meditate. And I tried. But I didn't succeed. I did it an hour here, I did a class there. And again, I'm one of those minds. I can listen to you and I can really make a conscious effort, but I can't clear my mind. So if something doesn't work, you give up, right? But then a few years back, I actually came in contact with a master breath worker, and he's a dear friend of mine. He actually does does the facilitation at my Costa Rica VIP retreats that I do every year. So it's coming up in August. But so he's one of the top masters in the world. And so when I did a session with him, I was so focused on my breath that suddenly I got into a meditative state because my mind was cleared of everything else because I was so focused on that breath. And so breath work works for me to get into that zone or meditative state. And for other people, it may be visualization or it may be meditation. So there's many times different tools to get to the same result. And with my clients, we got to explore those. They got to try those. And they will kind of tell me, oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. This I feel. Okay, that's going to be part of your power routine, right? So everybody's power routine is going to have the same elements, but it's going to be very custom, right? And so right now, I'm really focusing on getting better with managing or controlling the different faculties of my mindset and putting that conscious part to the side so I can get to my full potential also. Yes. It's not easy, but it's a daily practice, right?
Well, thank you so much for joining our podcast. We feel like we got a lot of gems in this episode, a lot of good information. For any of our listeners interested in learning more about you or potentially seeing you as a patient, how would they be able to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest social media guy, and everybody tells I should because I'll get a lot more business, but I try to avoid that dopamine overload, right? So I'm not strong. I don't have a strong presence at all. I still need somebody to help me there. But my website is the one place where you can find everything. It's biohackingunlimited.com. And so over there, you have all my books. You have my keynote speaking page. I love to speak and do many conferences and congresses. I have a 20-minute free Zoom call you can book there. If you're interested talking to me to see how I can help you, that's for free. What else? We're promoting the Limitless Lab. You can get all the details there. It's virtual, so you can join from anywhere over the world. So get the details, sign up, because right now it's cheap, but it's going to get more expensive. And we're going to continue to do it. Our Costa Rica VIP retreats, we only got 33 spots, so hurry up there too. So check it out, biohackingunlimited.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I look forward to watching you and seeing kind of what you get into next. Thanks for teaching us today.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode of the Awaken Your Ego podcast. We hope our discussions have inspired you to explore new dimensions of health and wellness.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to empower individuals on their path to optimal well-being.
Stay tuned for more insightful conversations, and until next time, may you continue to awaken your ego and embrace the extraordinary potential within.
Take care, be well, and remember, your journey matters.